Einstein's revolutionary papers of 1905 on special relativity deeply clarified and extended ideas that several other physicists and mathematicians such as Lorentz, Poincaré, and others had been working on for a few years. Einstein investigated the consequence of the fact that the laws of physics, in particular the behavior of light, are the same in differential inertial reference. He deduced from that a new explanation of the Lorentz transformation of the relativity of time and of the equivalence of mass and energy, etc. After 1905, Einstein began to think about extending the principle of relativity to any kind of reference frames that may be accelerating with respect to one another, not just inertial frames. An inertial frame is one where Newton's laws relating forces and motion have simple expression. Or if you prefer a more vivid image and you know how to juggle, it is a frame of reference in which you can juggle with no problem. For instance, in a railway car moving uniformly without jerks or acceleration of any sort. After 10 years of effort to build a theory extending the principle of relativity to frames with acceleration and taking into account gravitation in a novel way, Einstein published his work in November 1950. Unlike special relativity, which topped off the work of many, general relativity is essentially the work of one man. We shall start our study of general relativity pretty much where Einstein started. It was a pattern in Einstein's thinking to start with a really simple elementary fact, which almost a child could understand and deduce this incredibly far-reaching consequence. We think that it is also the best way to teach it, to start with the simplest things and deduce the consequences. So we shall begin with the equivalence principle. What is the equivalence principle? It is the principle that says that gravity is in some sense the same thing as acceleration. We shall explain precisely what is meant by that and give examples of how Einstein used it. From there, we shall ask ourselves what kind of mathematical structure must a theory have for the equivalence principle to be true? What kind of mathematics must we use to describe it? Most readers have probably heard that general relativity is a theory not only about gravity but also about geometry. So it is interesting to start at the beginning and ask, what is it that led Einstein to say that gravity has something to do with geometry? What does it mean to say that gravity equals acceleration? You all know that if you are in an accelerated frame of reference, say an elevator accelerating upward or downward, you feel an effective gravitational field. Children know this because they feel it. What follows may be overkill, but making some mathematics out of the motion of an elevator is useful to see in a very simple example how physicists transform a natural phenomenon into mathematics and then to see how the mathematics is used to make prediction about the phenomenon. Before proceeding, Let's stress that the following study on an elevator and the laws of physics, as perceived inside it, is simple, yet it is a first presentation of very important concept. It is fundamental to understand it very well. Indeed, we will often refer to it. In later lectures, it will strongly help us understand acceleration, gravitation, and how gravitation warps space-time. So let's imagine the Einstein thought experiment where somebody is in an elevator. So we will draw the figure. Point Z, and this is where Z equals 0. We have elevator here. It's L, function of T, and this is the moving reference where Z prime equals 0. Velocity V, moving upward. Z prime. In later textbooks, it got promoted to a rocket ship. But I have never been in a rocket ship, whereas I have been in an elevator, so I know what it feels like when it accelerates or decelerates. Let's say that the elevator is moving upward with a velocity v. So far, the problem is one-dimensional. We are only interested in the vertical direction. There are two reference frames. One is fixed with respect to Earth. It uses the coordinate z. The other is fixed with respect to the elevator. It uses the coordinate z prime. A point P anywhere along the vertical axis has two coordinates, a coordinate z in the stationary frame and coordinate z prime in the elevator frame. For instance, the floor of the elevator has coordinate z prime equals 0. Its z coordinate is the distance L, which is obviously a function of time. So we can write for any point P, z prime equals z minus Lt. We are going to be interested in the following question. If we know the laws of physics in the frame C, what are they in the frame Z prime? One warning about this lesson, at least at the start, we are going to ignore special relativity. This is tantamount to saying that we are pretending that the speed of light is infinite, or that we are talking about motion so slow that the speed of light can be regarded as infinitely fast. You may wonder, if general relativity is the generalization of special relativity, how did Einstein manage to start thinking about general relativity without including special relativity? The answer is that special relativity has to do with very high velocities, while gravity has to do with heavy masses. There is a range of situations where gravity is important, but high velocities are not. So, SR deals with high velocity. Meanwhile, gravity deals with heavy masses. So Einstein started thinking about gravity for slow velocity and only later combined it with special relativity to think about the combination of fast velocities and gravity, and that became the general theory. Let's see what we know for slow velocities. Suppose that z prime and z are both inertial reference frame. That means, among other things, that they are related by uniform velocity L t equal vt. We have chosen the coordinates such as that when t equals 0, they line up. At t equals 0 for any point z and z prime are equal. For instance, at t equals 0, the elevator's flow has coordinate 0 in both frames. So, at t equals 0, z equals z prime. Then the floor starts rising, its height z equaling vt. So for any point, we can write prime equals z minus vt. Notice that this is a coordinate transformation involving space and time. For the readers familiar with our lesson about special relativity, this naturally raises the question, what about time in the reference frame of the elevator? If we are going to forget special relativity, then we can just say that t prime and t are the same thing. We don't have to think about Lorentz transformation and their consequence, so the other half of the coordinate transformation will be t primes equal t. We could also add to the stationary frame a coordinate x going horizontally and a coordinate y jutting out of the page. Correspondingly, coordinate x prime and y prime could be attached to the elevator. So maybe like this. Origin, this is y, and this is x. And for the moving coordinate, the x coordinate will play a role in a moment with a light beam, as long as the elevator is not sliding horizontally. X prime and x can be taken to be equal, same for y prime and y. For the sake of clarity of the drawing in this figure, we offset a bit the elevator to the right of the z-axis, but think of the two vertical axes as actually sliding on each other, and t equals 0, the two at origin and origin prime coincide. Once again, the elevator moves only vertically. Well, our complete transformation is Vt, t prime equal t, x prime equals x, and y prime equals y. It is a coordinate transformation of space-time coordinates for any point P in space-time. It expresses its coordinates in the moving reference frame of the elevator as a function of its coordinates in the stationary frame. It is rather trivial, only one coordinate, namely z, is involved in an interesting way. Let us look at a law of physics expressed in the stationary frame. Take Newton's law of motion, F equals ma, apply to an object for a particle. The acceleration a is z double dot, where z is the vertical coordinate of the particle. So we can write F equals mz double dot. As we all know, z double dot, this is the second time derivative of z with respect to time. It is called the vertical acceleration, and F, of course, is the vertical component of the force. The other components we will take to be 0. Whatever force is exerted, it is exerted vertically. What could this force be due to? It could be related to the elevator or not. There could be some charge in the elevator pushing on the particle, or it could just be a force due to a rope attached to the ceiling and to the particle that pulls on it. There could be a field force along the vertical axis. Any kind of force could be acting on the particle. Whatever the cause, we know from Newton's law that the equation of motion of particle expressed in the original frame of reference is given by this equation. What is the equation of motion expressed in the prime frame? This is very easy. All we have to do is figure out what the original acceleration is in terms of the prime acceleration. What is the prime acceleration? It is the second derivative with respect to time of z prime. Using the first equation in this equation, so z prime equals z minus vt. The one differentiation will give you z dot minus v, and the second one give you this. The acceleration in the two frames of reference are the same. All this should be familiar, but I want to formalize it to bring out some point. In particular, I want to stress that we are doing a coordinate transformation. So, coordinate transformation. We are asking how the laws of physics change in going from one frame to another. What can we now say about Newton's law in the prime frame of reference? We substitute this z double dot prime for z double dot in this equation as they are equal, so we get F force equal m times c double dot prime, c prime double dot. We found that Newton's law in the prime frame is exactly the same as Newton's law in the unprime frame. That is not surprising. The two frames of reference are moving with uniform velocity relative to each other. If one of them is an inertial frame, the other is an inertial frame. Newton taught us that the law of physics are the same in all inertial frames. It's sometimes called Galilean principle of relativity. We just formalize it.